we're going to have a lesson on squares and square roots. As usual, we have a video guide. If you have not printed that off, go ahead and pause the video, print it, and then come back. All right, so the first thing that we're going to be talking about are squares. Okay, and we're not talking the shape today, we're talking about actually exponents. So I want to know, what does it mean when I ask you to square a number? We need to talk about that first, okay? So when I tell you to square a number, what I'm asking you to do is to multiply the number by itself. Most of us know this as having an exponent of 2. So let's take a look at example 1. We have 4 squared. That's how we would say this. Or some of us are used to hearing 4 to the 2nd power. All right. This number here is our exponent. It's a 2. Anytime we have an exponent of 2, it's called squaring the number. And again, it means to just multiply the number by itself. So when we see 4 squared, all that means is multiply 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So 4 squared is 16. Okay? So number 2. We have 9 squared. Again, that means just multiply 9 by itself. So 9 times 9, our answer is 81. So 9 squared is 81. All right, number 3. We have 3 squared, which just means we multiply 3 times 3. So our answer would be 9. Number 4. Getting a little bit more difficult. We have 12 squared. Okay? Multiply 12 by itself, so we take 12 times 12. Now, if you're unsure of what 12 times 12 is, we're not using a calculator today. We're going to work these out, so you're actually going to multiply that off to the side. 12 times 12. We do 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. When you go to the tens digit, remember to put a 0 as a placeholder. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1. Add those together, and we get 4 here, 4 here, and 1 here. So our answer is 144. So 12 squared is 144. All right, for number 5, we have 8 squared, which tells us to multiply 8 by itself. So 8 times 8, and 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, and last one that we'll do together, number 6. We have 29 squared. So again, if you don't know that one off the top of your head, which I don't, so we're going to go ahead and multiply it out. 29 times 29. Multiply it by itself. 9 times 9 is 81. Carry the 8. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 8 is 26. Have your 0 placeholder. 2 times 9 is 18. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Add those together. We get 1, 14. Carry the 1. 7, 8. So 841 would be our answer. At this time, go ahead and pause the video and try the next 3 problems on your own. All right, so the answers for 7, 8, and 9. Number 7, we had 6 squared. So remember that means multiply 6 by itself. You should have gotten 36. For number 8, we had 15 squared. I multiplied 15 by itself, and I got 225. If you did not get that, go ahead and check your work with mine. And lastly, number 9, we have 32 squared, which is just 32 times 32, and you should get 1,024. If you did not, go ahead and check your work with mine. At this point, we're going to switch gears and start talking about square roots. So the definition of a square root is a number, or is the number that you can multiply by itself to get the number under the square root. Kind of a long definition. Okay? You'll notice that it sounds similar to squaring a number. Okay, because when you square a number, you have to multiply it by itself. All right? Taking the square root is kind of reversing that. You're looking for the number that when you multiply it by itself, you get the number that's under the square root. So it helps when you actually see some of the examples. Let's look at number 10. We have the square root of 64. So what that means is I'm looking for the number that when I multiply it by itself, the exact same number, when I times it by itself, I would get 64. The only number that does that is 8, okay? 8 times 8 gives me 64. So my answer, the square root of 64, is just 8, okay? Because that's the number that when I multiply it by itself, I would get the number under the square root. So we're going smaller. When you square numbers, we're getting bigger. When we take the square root of something, we're going smaller. All right, so let's take a look at number 11. We have the square root of 49. So we're looking for what number, when I multiply it by itself, I would get 49, and that number is 7. 7 times 7 would give me 49, so my answer is 7. All right, number 12. We have the square root of 25. So I'm looking for what number times itself is 25, and that number is 5. 5 times itself, so 5 times 5 will give me 25. Pause it. We'll have to cut that. Now, for problem number 13, we have the square root of 256. Now, the answer to this one, most of us don't just know very quickly. So we are going to look at how to use a calculator to find these square roots. Now, some of you have phones that you can find the square root of a number pretty quickly on your phone. I'm going to show you today how to use the calculator. This is the same calculator that you will get to take the test. I'm going to tell you what buttons that you would need to push so that you can find the square root of 256 with this calculator. Okay? So, to do that, there is a green button at the top of the calculator that says second. Okay? You're going to hit that button first, just one time, and then there's a button along the left-hand side that looks like this, an X and then to the power of 2. So you're going to hit the second button and then the X to the second button. You should get this symbol in your calculator, a square root symbol with a parentheses. Once you get that, type in your number. So in this case, it would be 256. And then you would hit enter. So if I type that in, I hit second, X to the second, 256, and then enter, you should get that the answer is 16. So that's the square root of 256. All right, let's take a look at number 14 because we'll need to use our calculator again. So for 14, we're looking for the square root of 1,444. We're going to use the same procedure. We're going to hit second, and then X to the second, and then type your number. So second, X to the second, and then 1,444. After that, you hit enter. Okay? Your answer should be 38. All right, and let's do this one more time. Make sure that we've got it. Take a look at 15 with me. For number 15, we are looking for the square root of 441. So you hit second, and then X to the second, you'll get the square root symbol. and then type your number, 441, and then hit enter. Your answer should be 21. At this point, go ahead and pause the video, try those last 3 problems on your own, and then you can check your work. So for your last 3 problems, we have 16. You needed to take the square root of 121. Your answer should be 11. Okay. For number 17, I took the square root of 729. Your answer should be 27. And number 18, the square root of 4 is 2. Now remember, if you are unsure about one of these 3 and you have the calculator, these are the buttons you need to push this order. You'll hit second, x to the second, and then your number goes here, and then hit enter. You should get these. And that's our lesson on squares and square roots.